Yeah, I mean, I think it's, like, it's funny how, these last games always become, such a thing when you're thinking about the entire NBA season and the amount of games that you played. But it happens every single year where seeding has happened and the intensity elevates because these games are, so valued because like where you stand and what you're looking at. So, this is something it's not a, few we need to get through it. This is a intensified habit building opportunity for us to raise our level of competition.
Donovan obviously upgraded to questionable tonight. If he is able to return, where do you feel like, in a few minutes, you feel his impact the most in the game?
Just the force and the gravity that he carries on the offensive end of the floor. His leadership, the way his teammates believe in him and feel the confidence when he's on the floor, what they're capable of. I think you'll feel that boost right away.
Marcus Morris Sr. obviously getting an extension for the rest of the season. You have that relationship with him since he's been a rookie. What is he able to bring to you guys? And you talk about the impact of not just today, but long haul intensity wise.
He just brings a level of respect that there may be 5 to 10 guys carry in this league. There is a no nonsense approach. A physicality that he's allowed to play with, but then you match that with a skill set of his ability to create shots and put the ball in the basket. Like when he speaks, because he's a quiet person, people listen. We had conversations just, yesterday, and, he spoke up, and you could tell his teammates were embracing and listening to what he had to say. So, that's invaluable for us as we continue to kind of grow and fight through this and try to take the steps that we're looking for.
Tell us just what he was able to portray and why it's so important that he's not only a veteran leader but someone that the players automatically listen to, even though he's only been here for 11 days?
Yeah, again, I like keep what he said, between the group. But again, like you can tell the difference when, people are talking and whether people are listening and hearing what they're actually saying. And you could look at the body language of the group, and you could tell that they were hearing, and his message was coming through loud and clear.
Jim,
what does Darius need to do to get on track for the playoffs? Back to his old self.
He just needs to play. I think there's just there's so many things that we nitpick and we concern ourselves with, but Darius needs to just play basketball and focus on that and figure out how he helps our team. And put his effort and energy into that, and I think that's what he always does. Obviously, shots will go for him and those types of things, but we're not concerned about that. He plays with the spirit and the joy that he has, and he typically does. Like Darius will be just fine.
How much of it seems like he's been a little bit more hesitant to attack recently? How much of that do you think is because of him getting hit in the face all the time?
Yeah, obviously that has to have, I would think, some sort of, in the back of your mind, you break your face, like you're thinking of that, you're conscious of that. But again, like, we know who Darius is, and we believe in Darius, and he's just going to go play with joy and passion and a level of competition, and he'll be fine.
I think the other night Max had some more stuff to say. It seems pretty pointed just reading it, and I think he said, we just didn't defend, and I think he kind of mentioned no excuses type thing. Was that the general tone today?
Yeah, and it's
Or yesterday, whenever you had this?
Yeah, so it was, and again, I don't want to call it a meeting. We watched film, and then we just had had a conversation post film where we saw those things that Max was talking about, where we just did not do the job defensively. But what the fun part about what we do is, like, we get to show up every day and test our character and who we are, right? That's players, that's our coaching staff, like, and we get to do it in front of the entire world to see, right? And we are challenged every single day, and it gives you an opportunity to show the type of person that you really are when the chips may be down, right? And how do you overcome adversity? And I'm confident in the guys in that locker room that going through a tough time like this, will help us in the long term. It's going to make us a better basketball team. It's going to allow us to handle difficult situations better. And the belief and confidence in it that we're capable of doing the job, because we are a good basketball team, right? We just gone through a little bit of a tough stretch. But collectively, we are a good basketball team, and we're going to be dangerous.
Yep. What happened to Karras?
It's his wrist. It's something he's been dealing with and just kind of fighting through, and just got to a point where he needed some time.
And when you say he needs some time, do you expect him to play tonight?
We'll see. He's going to go out and try to warm up, and then we'll see.
And on a more broader spectrum, I'm sure you noticed around the arena, there's women's Final Four stuff, inside, outside, everywhere. You guys will be on the road, of course, during that. But for you, just as a basketball fan, is it exciting to know, like, the national championship is being played on the same hardwood we technically play on?
Yeah, the timing is kind of bad for us, but no, it's a obviously it's a beautiful thing. Like the level of competition and just watching all these tournament games, the emphasis on it because it is a one game win or go home situation every single game. The growth of women's basketball and the stars that are being created from women's basketball. Like my kids are trying to find tickets to the game, you know what I mean? And the ticket prices are, unbelievable because of the draw and the amount of people that want to come and the love and respect for the game. So, it's a big deal. And it's huge for the game of basketball. Like the game of basketball is so widespread, and to now see it, gaining the attention, especially in women's basketball, it's just reaching, more people, and the game's going to continue to spread and grow. And that's awesome to me, for someone who loves the game of basketball, it's brought so much to so many people, and now it's just going to open more doors for everybody.
Is there any kind of update on Dean?
Not yet. He's day-to-day right now.
He get hurt?
He, it's something, again, like that he was dealing with, and he continued to play through it, and then, it just got to a point where he couldn't play through it anymore. They've tried different things medically, and we're just trying to see how he progresses. Just give him a little bit of time.
You hope to have him back though before the end of the regular season.
Again, I can't give you an honest answer about that.
Anything else in the room? Jackson, last one.
So the core four hasn't, like the four of Allen, Mobley, Mitchell, and Garland haven't played together a whole lot. Is there enough time in the regular season to get them all kind of on the same page before the playoffs?
Yeah, again, if our focus is on playing Cavs basketball where we just try to make the right play, the simple play, then we'll be just fine. And I think that's what those guys do, right? Those guys are so unselfish. They know who they are. They know how they fit. They know where their strengths are. Each other knows how to support the other one also to make them a better player. Don't get me wrong. You need reps. You know what I mean? Like there's small details of the game, especially the big aspect where, we've got to make sure that we're comfortable and those guys get the spacing and the timing and those things. But I believe we have enough time to get it right.
What do you need to see from them all, really?
It's going to be an interesting thing, because it's going to take us some, there's got to be a ramp up where their minutes increase to a heavier load. And obviously, Evan coming off an injury, Donovan coming off an injury, like we have to manage how quickly we get there. But we got to get to a point where we see, that they can sustain, high minutes for, a period of time, see how their body responds the next day, and then keep building from there.
Yep, just gonna wrap up, Coach.